To the number of the day, a quick delay today because Parliament's Public Works Committee has said that it is now withdrawing the Expropriation Bill because of the parliamentary process underway. And of course, that's all about expropriation without compensation, looking at Section 25 of the Constitution. Now, the Expropriation Bill was passed in 2016, so this was a forerunner to the current debate. It was returned by former President Jacob Zuma in 2017, last year, due to concerns around the public participation process. That's why it's sitting with Parliament. ANC members of the committee have welcomed the withdrawal. Exactly what does this mean? We're joined on the line now by Nonceba Mhlauli, spokesperson for the ANC in Parliament. Thank you for being with us. And can you tell us why the Expropriation Bill, so something that was there to deal with expropriation of land, has now been withdrawn?
Good evening. So you would note that since 2018, since earlier on this year, Parliament passed a resolution for the expropriation of the land without compensation. Now, at the time that the expropriation bill was passed, that was not a legal, but that was not a consideration. So because of the current process that is currently underway, the bill will have to be re-looked at, and possibly also obviously including clauses that would speak to the expropriation of land without compensation. So it's really a process issue to say that since this bill was passed, there have been processes that have developed, and the current process which is underway, which is to review the Constitution to provide for the expropriation of land without compensation. This bill, in its current form, does need to be re-looked in order to take account of this current development. So it's really just a process issue.
Ms. Mhlauli, I understand that the bill was to deal with farmers, say, who didn't want to sell their land to government, or maybe were pushing up the prices. So I understand that the bill says that land can be expropriated at a fair price. Is that what you're saying? So it's logical to now withdraw this because we may have new laws or a change to the Constitution that goes further than that and says it doesn't have to be a fair price, but there could be no price at all.
So the bill at the time that it was drafted was obviously drafted on the Constitution in its current form. Now, in light of the fact that there is a process to review Section 25 of the Constitution, and that the end of that process might have some amendments or introduce some clauses that might affect what the current formation of the bill is. Therefore, the ANC felt that it's important to halt the process of this particular bill until we have a finalization of what amending legislation will be introduced to the Constitution, which will then inform the expropriation bill. So the expropriation bill will be reintroduced based on whatever amendments that will be made to Section 25 of the Constitution.
Okay, so we will see a modified expropriation bill in future. Explain quickly, were there problems with the public participation process, and how do we prevent those going forward when this again goes through Parliament once the land debate is concluded in South Africa?
So you would note that with this particular instance, President Jacob Zuma felt that there was not enough public participation on the side of the NCOP. But you would note that with the CRC process, Parliament had a process of 2 months where they went to the length and breadth of South Africa to speak to the people of South Africa in terms of what their view is on this particular matter. The written submissions alone have gone up to about 800,000, where people have written to the committee to say that what their view is on this particular matter. So in terms of public participation, we are quite confident that Parliament has really ensured that every South African is encouraged to make their voice heard on this particular matter. In fact, the next step of the CRC will be to receive oral representation on the particular issue of land expropriation without compensation. So and even with that, members of the public will come to Parliament and make oral representation. There's now currently a process of all of the written submissions being reviewed, and also obviously the public hearing process as well, which went to all provinces in the past 2 months.
All right, thank you very much, Nonceba Mhlauli, spokesperson for the ANC in Parliament, so explaining why the expropriation bill has now been withdrawn. Let's get to the number of the